The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone and welcome to the DAAD North America webinar series. Today we will give you a run-through of all available undergraduate and graduate scholarships and grants. We're delighted that you can all join us to hear more about opportunities to fund study and research in Germany. Before we start the webinar, let me get a few questions out of the way. Yes, we will share these slides with you, and we will also record this webinar, and you will be able to listen to it later again. And we will put that online on our website, daad.org. And yes, you will also be able to contact the presenters afterwards. For those of you who've never participated in a webinar, I'd like to give you just a quick run-through of the panels and what you can do. First of all, the attendee list and the audio pane. So the attendee list is not visible to you, and you're all muted because we have quite a few attendees today, so that will be quite chaotic if everyone will be able to say something right away. But you can communicate with us through the question option. So please ask your questions. I will collect them, and at the very end we have a Q&A session for you to ask all your questions. And now, before we get to our topic, I'd like to introduce today's presenters. My name is Hani Geist. I am the DAAD's West Coast representative in the San Francisco office. And joining us from New York are Oshi and Myung-Shin. And I think they're going to say hello to you quickly before we move on.
Hello, welcome to today's webinar.
Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar today.
And at the very end for the Q&A session, you will also see our contact information, so if you can think of any questions afterwards or you generally have any questions to our presenters, feel free to contact us after the webinar. So today we will give you a brief overview on who DAAD is and what we do. Then we go right into studying in Germany, and we will answer all the important questions. And my colleagues then will introduce DAAD scholarships. And with that, I'll jump right into today's webinar by answering what is the DAAD. So DAAD is a German national agency for international academic cooperation and exchange, and simply put, it's really the higher education arm of the German government. And we provide scholarships and grants, but also we provide information and counseling about studying and research in Germany. So if you're interested in studying in Germany, not necessarily the funding, or first and studying and then the funding, you're welcome to contact us and we'll be happy to help you. Just a little overview, we have 70 regional offices worldwide, and in North America we have the office in New York and San Francisco, and we also have an information center in Toronto. And last year we supported 100,000 individuals worldwide, and most importantly we support scholarships and grants for research and study abroad in all academic fields and varied lengths of stay. Now here's a great overview again, so really we're represented in most of the world. And let's jump right to the next slide. Why Germany? Well, there are, of course, many reasons, and I wish I'd be able to speak to all of you right now to hear your individual reason. But let me just give you a few facts. There are 250,000 international students in Germany, and that's about 10%. And for you, that actually means that there's a great infrastructure for international students. And you're studying with students from all over the world, from Europe, but also from the US, from Africa, from Australia. Germany is the largest economy in Europe and the third largest in the world, and we do have a high academic standard and standard of living. What's important for you also is that 2.5% of Germany's GDP is spent on research and development, and part of that are the scholarships and grants that DAAD offers, but it's also the infrastructure that you are offered as international students. Now, there are two types of universities in Germany, the research universities, and you can get an undergraduate, a professional, and doctor's programs. So you can get a BA, MA, and a PhD there. And then we have universities of applied sciences. They're more practice-oriented, as the name suggests, and you can get a bachelor's and master's there. But we also have outstanding research institutes, like the Max Planck Institute, Helmholtz Research Centers, and Fraunhofer Institutes. Those are particularly interesting to those of you who are in the field of the sciences. Now, the following websites offer detailed information and databases for you to find the right program. So if you're interested in international programs, DAAD has a database for you, but also, generally speaking, Study in DE and Research in Germany DE. It gives you a lot of information about studying and research in Germany, and also you can find the right programs through those websites. Now, how do you apply to the programs? First of all, if you're interested in study abroad, I recommend you go to your study abroad office first and you ask them what programs they already have established. If you are interested in getting a master's program, for example, you go through a service called UniAssist, and they will check your application material and then send it off to several universities at a time. If you're interested in grad school, you have to apply directly to the universities. But please, for all of those, check the university websites for their application guidelines. Just for you to know, the DAAD scholarships are independent from your study abroad program. So if you apply to your study abroad program, then you're in the program, and then you would, in addition to that, apply for a study abroad. Or if you want to go to Germany to get a master's degree or a bachelor's degree or a PhD, you would apply first to the university, or those are independent steps. Apply to the university and then apply for DAAD funding. So just so that you know, those are not that's not just one process. And now we get to the part that's most interesting for you probably, the opportunities to study and research in Germany with DAAD scholarships. So DAAD offers funding for study abroad, for internships, for senior thesis research, for research. It's open to students in all fields. Your level of German really depends on what you would like to accomplish in Germany. If your research is in English, then you only need English. If your research is in German, you need to be fluent in German. So there is not one answer to if you need German. And then now we'll jump right into what scholarships we actually offer, and I will hand over the microphone to Uschi.
Okay, hello. Welcome again to the webinar. And the first program I'm going to talk about is the Undergraduate Scholarship. This is a funding opportunity for a junior or senior year or semester abroad in Germany. And we not only support study abroad in Germany, but also senior thesis research and internships, or a combination of study, research, and or internships. At the time of application, that is January 31st, 2015, students have to be sophomores or juniors. And as Hani just mentioned before, this is one of the programs that is open to all academic fields. The minimum stay in Germany is 4 months, and you can apply for support up to a full academic year. This award cannot be used for a summer program. It has to be used during the German academic year, which starts in October. Also, students who would like to go to Germany in the spring of 2016, they also have to apply for the January 31st, 2015 deadline. So this deadline is for the whole academic year 2015-16. You can see the monthly award is 650 euros, so that's roughly between $700 and $800 monthly, and in most German towns and cities this is you can really cover the living expenses with that amount. in the undergraduate scholarship also includes health insurance, and there's a travel subsidy to get to Germany and back to your home country. The next program I'm going to talk about is a summer program. It's a university summer course grant. This program provides scholarships to attend a broad range of 3 to 4 weeks summer courses at German universities, and these courses focus mainly on German language and literature, but also cultural, political, and economic aspects. On the website you will find a link to a database, and there are hundreds of courses you can choose from. There is a minimum requirement of 2 years of language instruction, so you should have like what Europeans consider B1 level, so a low intermediate level, because these courses are really more like conversation courses where you talk about themes that I just mentioned. The scholarship includes tuition, room and board, as well as health insurance and travel reimbursement. And the application deadline is coming up in mid-December. Another language course program is the intensive language course. This is an 8-week program at leading institutes in Germany, for example, the Goethe Institute, that offers language courses. And you can see the requirements. There are some restrictions because students of German studies, German language and literature, and German translation and interpretation can apply, and the applicants must have completed 3 semesters of college or university level German, or have at least achieved an equivalent level of language proficiency. You see the terms of award is much higher because these courses are also longer than the one that I just previously mentioned, and again this includes tuition, accommodation, a cash allowance, as well as health insurance again, and reimbursement of travel costs. This program is another program that is not open for all fields. It is specifically targeted towards students of political science, international relations, law, history, economics, or German. This is meant for advanced undergraduates or graduate students, and it's actually a very unique opportunity. It's a 2-month internship at the German Parliament. It's a highly competitive program. We only have 4 positions available every year. And this internship requires a very high level of German because the working language at the Bundestag, at the German Parliament, is of course German. Students receive a monthly salary from the German Bundestag, so it's not a DAAD scholarship that they actually receive. And this salary is about 1,500 euros every month. So that is really enough to cover living expenses in Berlin. DAAD can also help with health insurance and housing. A travel subsidy is not included in this program. And you can see the deadline for internships in 2015 just passed. So the next deadline will again be September 15th, but in 2015. And this deadline next year is for internships in 2016. This is also a program that cannot, an internship that cannot be done during the summer because the German Parliament is not in session during that time. And now I'm going to hand over to my colleague Myung-Shin Kim, who's going to introduce more DAAD funding programs.
Myung-Shin?
Hi, my name is Myung-Shin Kim. Thanks, Ushi. Yes, I'll start with German Studies Research Grant, although I'm the Program Officer for the Graduate Scholarship Program. So the German Studies Research Grant is actually designed to encourage research and promote the study of cultural, political, economic, and social aspects of modern and contemporary German affairs. The third year undergraduate can apply, or master degree students can apply, or PhD students before their ABD status could apply up to 2 months. The awards, the term is between 1,500 to 3,000, and this is towards the living cost and also your travel cost. Since I probably have a lot of information on the study scholarship and research grant, I'm going to briefly just mention this and then move on to the study scholarship for the graduate students. This year we have a lot of changes. The deadline has changed, the application process has been changed to online portal, and some of the maximum page requirement and also the number of the recommendation letter has changed. All the information has been corrected and updated since August 2014. However, I just want to mention that because of all these changes, it would be very, very helpful if you read the website very carefully, because you can find also a lot of answers there and relevant information and helpful and practical tips. The graduate scholarship is both for the study scholarship and the research grant that I'm going to present. The study scholarship, again, as I have mentioned, we have changed the deadline. It is November 4th. That is an online deadline. The hard copies couldn't be submitted after one week after the online deadline. And I'll try to be flexible, so if you are even 1 or 2 days late, it'll be fine. Important, I mean, you'll see it on the website, important deadline is the online deadline, because it'll shut off. So it'll shut off at 11 p.m. Central European time, so you have to also pay attention. Who can apply? Graduating seniors can apply, or recent graduate student can apply. Graduate student can apply who are in a master's degree program. Students who are enrolled in the first year of the German master's degree program can apply also for the second year of their master's degree program. Someone who wants to do an independent study for 10 months, that's no problem. So this program is designed for someone who either wants to do an independent study or master's degree program. The monthly stipend is about 750 euros. We provide the health insurance, and also there is a travel subsidy, and students who live in certain cities, they can also apply for rent subsidy. Yep, can I see the next slide? Yes. The study scholarship that I have mentioned previously is for all fields, but we also have a study scholarship just for visual and performing artists. Again, the deadline has also been changed, and also there is a big change of the submission system. Students not only have to apply online, but also they have to send all the materials, application materials with their CDs and all that, to our head office. So the New York office won't accept any of the hard copies. Students have to go through the portal and also send the hard copies to our head office in Bonn. The selection will also take place in our head office. So it is very important. Again, the procedure is the same. The online at 11 p.m. in Central European time, and the hard copies to Bonn. It is also, I just want to mention, since you can all read the slides, I want to mention an important aspect of this program. this grant is conditional, so it is only valid if you are admitted to your host institution. So I normally encourage students to apply for multiple universities, since it is very competitive, and then see and do auditions and see whether they get admitted or not. Some of the programs or some of the schools to study with certain professors are very competitive, so it would be better if you apply for multiple universities. The monthly stipend is the same, and now we can move on to the research grant. So the research grant is available for those who are ABD now, or who will be ABD for the long-term research grant before they leave for Germany if they were awarded, or someone who wants to complete a doctoral degree in Germany. Let me see the slides. And so they can do independent research. They don't have to be affiliated with a university. They can just do the archival research. And for those who want to complete a doctoral degree, they can get a grant extended up to 3 years so that they can complete doctoral degree in Germany. This is part of the graduate scholarship programs which I have mentioned earlier, and we also have the change of the deadline, and also actually for this grant though, we have switched last year already for this grant to have the online portal submission. So we didn't change that, but the deadline has changed. So it applies the same as the study scholarship. The short-term research grant, we said roughly 30 grants here, but we don't count the grant itself. We count the monthly units that students apply. So that's, I would say, the selection ratio is about 1 to 4. And I just want to mention for both for the study scholarship research grant for the long term, the selection ratio is about 1 to 6. The monthly stipend here is 1,000 euros, and they will receive also the travel subsidy, health insurance, and the rent subsidy for certain cities. And for those who are married and have children, we also offer family subsidies, spousal and children subsidy. We have one deadline just like the study scholarship for long term, but we have another deadline in May for the short-term research grant. I think I'm gonna, I'll go next to the next slide so that we have more.
And that's actually me. I will present to you our internship program, the RISE program. It's internships for research internships for science and engineering majors, and we have 2 internships. The first one is the RISE internship for undergraduates. It's a summer program, which is, I think, very convenient for a lot of the students here. It's also convenient because students don't necessarily have to speak German for this. So the language in the lab is English. And students will work with PhD students in Germany at a German university. The way this works is that students propose a project to DAAD, and those that are deemed good, they will be online, and then students can, by the beginning of December, the DAAD database opens, and then students can see what internships are available. Students can choose up to 3 internships at a time, and I recommend students do that so that they really have a chance of receiving an internship. And as you can see in the pie chart, we have internships in the field of biology, engineering, chemistry, physics, and a few in earth science. The application process is not administered here in the United States, but actually in our headquarters in Bonn. It is, again, online process, and if there are any material that need to be sent, they need to be sent to the headquarters in Bonn. So also please check the deadline and make sure you know what time the deadline is, like what time zone. And the deadline for that is January 15th. If you're familiar with this program, it was previously January 31st, so this has changed. Please be aware of that. We also offer an internship for graduate students and DAAD alumni. This is called Rise Professional, and as the name suggests, this is a professional internship at a German company. Some of the participating companies you see on the bottom of the slide, I think you're probably familiar with at least a few of those companies. And again, it's a web-based matching process, early December to January 31st. The database is open, and you will receive a monthly stipend, just like for the RISE program. The difference here is that you can actually do this internship up to 26 weeks. The level of German really depends on the company and what they're looking for, so please check the database and read through the descriptions for the internships to learn more about the requirements. I am not going to go into detail here, but for the advisors and maybe the professors that are listening, we do offer scholarships and grants for PhD students and postdocs, but also for faculty and staff, much like so faculty members, for example, are able to teach in Germany for a semester or 2, and of course they can conduct research in Germany, and they can get the funding from DAAD. Now, off to the next slide. How to apply. I think this is Myung-shin's slide.
Thanks, Hani. Yeah, how to apply. It was somewhat simple before, because it was just you print out the form and you filled out and then you sent it to us. Now it has gotten a little more complicated, but you know, our goal is perhaps in the near future to have paperless online system. And since our head office has developed this online portal, and we are still in the process of changing and updating and improving the whole system. So we expect our applicants to apply online, but also send the hard copies just to make sure that the system is working. So sometimes it's more complicated. You have to go more steps now, although it's online. So you have to be a little patient and just read the guidelines very carefully. So basically, as you can see here, we have divided all the funding programs among the different academic status. So when you click that, we'll have all the general standard description of the program, and you can also check your eligibility, and once you meet all the eligibility requirements that are established for the specific program, you can also see whether you'll be interested in applying for funding through that program. The deadline is there indicated, and the terms of award, and also the exact application guideline. Now, the portal I have mentioned several times now, and the portal is basically this online submission system, and it is, maybe some of you have already experienced, it is self-explanatory, but it is somewhat, it's not very easy to navigate, or it's not very intuitive. But I mean, because of that, we have also created this video how to apply. So that shows you basically how to navigate the portal. So that would be important too. And yeah, once you have collected all the materials, you can send the hard copies to us. I just want to briefly mention how it works. For that, I think I just want to go to the website for a second. Yeah. So basically, when you are on our on the page of the funding program, you will see all the documents that you have to upload in the portal. Now, this is not for all programs that we have presented. This is just for the study scholarship and the research grant. I'm mentioning it now because the deadlines are coming up pretty soon. So you have to register there, and then as a user, and then you have to upload all the documents there except the recommendation letters. And once you upload all the documents, you'll receive an email from the portal directly, and they'll send you a summary of all the documents that you have uploaded. And print out that and make 2 copies and include a letter of recommendation that is in a sealed envelope, and then you can send that to our New York office. For those who are performing artists and visual artists, they have to send to our head office in Bonn. Also, I quickly want to mention our evaluation criteria, because it is we use it internally, but I think it is also important for applicants to know what sort of criteria we have. So basically, when I'm going to just briefly recap our evaluation criteria. So it is, our selection is merit-based, but it is, we look at the track record in academic performance or personal achievement, or is the project or study program well defined? Does it have merit? Is it convincing? Is there a convincing reason why they want to go to Germany, or why the candidate choose a program for their professional or academic goals? Or is the host institution or host university appropriate institution for the candidate? Also, for the research grants for PhD and postdoc candidates, is the length of the funding period that they have requested appropriate. These are the things that we look at the selection committee meeting, and these are the criteria that our selection committee members receive. So keep in mind when you apply for our funding. Yep.
Okay, so now I'm taking over, and Yongshin already talked a little bit about what our selection committee members really look at. I also want to provide some very general tips for success for developing a strong scholarship application. I think the most important recommendation really is plan ahead and manage your time well. Preparing a competitive application takes a great deal of time and effort. And therefore also make sure to use all the resources on campus. I know we have professors listening today, and also study abroad advisor, and my most important tip for the students listening is go and see your study abroad advisor and use all the resources you have on campus. Those people can advise you and help you with preparing a strong application. express why a stay in Germany is critical for your academic and professional goals. That's something Myung-Shin just mentioned. Mention in your motivation letter or proposal how your qualifications fit with the purpose of the scholarship, and how does the award fit in with your personal, professional, and academic goals. Another important thing, or something I would recommend, is try to establish a contact at a German university before applying for the scholarships. For undergraduate as well as graduate students, have a look at the courses that they offer. Mention in your motivation letter what professors, for example, published papers that you read and you're specifically interested in, and what courses you would potentially take when in Germany. And then, of course, explain clearly why you chose the location or program you did, and also make sure to submit quality letters of recommendations, meet your professors before, talk to them, brief them on the overall timeline, your plans, expectations, and opportunities with regard to the scholarship, and make sure the recommenders are really familiar with your plans. Give them as much information as possible. Last but not least, you make our life a lot easier if your application arrives on time and is complete and in the right order. And of course, during the time when you put together your application, we are here to help you and to answer your questions. But also, as I said before, also use all the resources that you have on campus. And now I'm handing over to Hani again.
Yeah. As you can see here, there are a number of websites that are useful for you. First of all, the DAAD.org website, of course, because the information that we provided in the slides here are very brief. It's just a quick summary. So if you go to DAAD.org, you can find a lot more information about the application process, who's eligible, and what you get for the scholarship. And then if you can't quite find a scholarship that DAAD offers, go to funding-guide.de or the other websites that are listed, and maybe you can find a scholarship or a grant offered through other organizations. And finally, our last slide before we get to the Q&A session. We are on Facebook and on Twitter and Instagram, and so connect with us. We post about interesting articles about universities here in the U.S. and in Germany, about trends. Of course, we try to stay in touch, and we also post, especially in DAAD North America, interesting ways to learn German, for example, maybe videos. So it's definitely worth it to like us and communicate with us via social media. And now we have quite a few questions, actually, so I would like to jump right into that section. The first question is from Maya, and she asks, is the undergraduate scholarship eligible to students who will be abroad their sophomore spring?
No, so you can, freshmen cannot apply for this program, and so this is only specifically for juniors and seniors. So at the time of application, you have to be in your second year at university.
Okay, thank you, Oshi. I think this one is from Myung-Shin, and it's regarding the research grant application. The section called Detailed and Explicit Project Proposal and Description of Previous Research Undertaken. Does the previous research undertaken refer to previous experience of the applicant or previous research literature available in the area of the proposed project?
No, yeah, this is yeah, we had a couple of questions previously as well. This is of your own research.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great, simple answer. That's how I like it. So I have a question, I think, for both of you. G asks, I'm an international student in America. Do I apply through programs for my home country or my current university in America? How does this work?
You can apply through the university here or to DAAD New York. So as long for undergrads, as long as you're enrolled in an undergraduate program here at a university in the US, you can apply for our DAAD North America scholarships. And Myung-Shin for the graduates.
Yeah, it applies the same to the graduate scholarship. This is also one of the changes that we had just for the graduate scholarship. It used to be 2 years for foreign students, and now we changed to 1 year for the stay here in the U.S. or in Canada. So foreign students who have been enrolled full-time more than 1 year at a North American university, they can apply. They're eligible and apply through our office.
Okay, thank you. Now, when applying for a PhD research grant, that's again for you, Myung-Shin, through North American University, does the university send the application to the DAAD office, or is the applicant responsible for sending the hard copies?
I'm wondering if this is, I guess the question is because the applicant is at one of our partner universities. It's up to the campus advisor. I think, no, now I understand. So the student has to also hand in the hard copies to the advisors because they don't have access to the portal. So you have to apply online and upload all the documents and print that out, and you have to submit that to your campus advisor. If you're not at a partner universities, of course you have to send the documents directly to us, to the New York office.
Okay. And now I think here's a question that interests everyone, and I think both of you can answer. How much does the GPA weigh in the application for undergraduate scholarship? But I think that also applies to graduate students. And can you offer some suggestions on how the applicant could show their skills and involvements in the application?
For the undergraduate scholarship, we don't really have a GPA requirement, but from past experience, this program is, as all the other programs, quite competitive, and I would really suggest to have a GPA of 3.5 or higher. However, if a student is really passionate about going to Germany and has a fantastic motivation letter, he or she might also have chances to get the scholarship even if the GPA is not that high. So we don't really have a general rule or restriction for that.
Yeah, that's also for the graduate scholarship, it's the same. Yeah, it is. The selection is highly competitive, but of course just the GPA is not only criteria that we look at. So as Ushi mentioned, I believe between maybe 3.2, 3.5, but also we consider the inflation of a GPA. So, you know, from certain schools we know how their GPA is distributed. So just keep that in mind. It's highly competitive, but that's not the only, the track record is not only what we look at. But I would say, yeah, even with the inflation of the scores, I would say it should be more or less higher than 3.2.
Okay. When will the specific research projects for the RISE internships be available? I think I'm just going to answer that question. So for both internship programs, for RISE and RISE Professional, it will be early December when the database opens. So you have about 2 months or a month and a half for the RISE program to take a look at the internships with the detailed description and then apply to a maximum of 3. Ashley asks, what is the best way to get an invitation from a professor or institution, since it says that you need an invitation for a research grant? Myung-Shin, do you have a tip here?
If for the research grant, I would say it depends on the field, but I would say, I mean, I would recommend that perhaps your advisor here at home university could recommend someone, or now, I mean, these days it's very easy to, it's not very difficult to find a research institute or other organizations maybe with your interest of the proposal, maybe just do the internet search. There are a lot of information out there, and then try to maybe get in touch with some of the scientists or possible collaborators. There is a search engine if applicants want to know. Search engines, I believe there is a I think Max Planck, or even just for someone in the humanities, those search engines can be found. I think it's Hochschul Kompass, hrk.de, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe, and then just filter the specific fields and maybe look at the organizations or institutions and get in touch with one of them.
So you can, if you, we will put this PowerPoint online as a PDF, and the links that I've mentioned previously, you can go to those links, like Research in Germany, for example, or Study in, or as Myung-Shin just mentioned, Hochschul Kompass, and you can filter the programs and then go to the websites and see who's teaching at those institutions and what they focus on, and through that get an invitation. Now I have a follow-up question for you, Myung-Shin. What does invitation really mean? Does this mean they have to have a contract already, or they have to have like a formal letter saying that they're invited, or how formal does this invitation actually need to be?
We don't have restrictions on this, and also, in Germany they have a little different mentality of writing an invitation letter. So for some research or work, we will be fine. I mean, just a simple invitation indicating that yes, we have this materials and you can access this, and we'll provide you a laptop and a desk and chair. That'll be fine. But it depends on your proposal or project. If if we see that your proposal needs a real invitation from someone who wants to host you, then we would need a more detailed invitation, that letter that indicating that yes, they want to confirm that this applicant is ready or is willing to collaborate with them on so-and-so project and proposal. I just also mention, I mean, this question was regarding the research grant, but I just want to mention for studies scholarship applicant who wants to complete a master's degree in Germany, they don't need an invitation letter. They just need to fill out this one form.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. So I have another question from G, and she asks, for the undergraduate scholarship, does it also apply for my study abroad program that's happening during the American academic calendar, so from September to December?
Yeah, we sometimes, with the undergraduate scholarship, we sometimes can make exceptions and start it as early as September 1st, but that's normally really the earliest time.
Mm-hmm.
The scholarship period normally starts on October 1st, but for some very specific programs that run from September through the end of December, that's possible, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And we have a question. This is not a good year for me to apply. May I ask for how long these scholarships will last? Well, I think I can quickly answer that. Of course, there are a few programs that, and we've had those for a very long time now, like the Undergraduate Scholarship and the Study Scholarship, and there are a few others like the German Studies Grant that that was just reinstated. So the flagship scholarships are most likely going to be available again next year, and most of the scholarships that you can find on our website, but of course there's always the possibility that it's not offered one year but maybe the next year again. So there is really not a definite answer to that question.
But Tani, maybe I can add here that if you apply now for the 2015-16 academic year and you are awarded a scholarship, you cannot defer it to past years. So all the scholarships are bound to our fiscal year and have to be used within a specific time frame. So you cannot apply now and then say use the scholarship in 3 years. That is not possible.
Yeah.
So you can only apply for the upcoming academic year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Before we end, and I don't see any more questions from the attendees, but I know I received that question quite a bit, is so for the study scholarship and for the research grant that involves independent research, so what do the students need to provide, especially for the independent studies where they go after their bachelor's degree? How would they, since they're not enrolled at a university necessarily, how would they go about really talking about their proposal in their application, or do you have any advice for those students?
Well, yeah, the study scholarship for an independent study, this used to be called the Deutschlandjahr, and this is for someone who wants to start with a master's degree. They just want to skip 1 year and just go over to Germany and research in their major field. I see proposals that that some of their professors from their home universities recommend for students to go over and spend 1 year. I see it a lot in humanities or even in the natural sciences, or maybe get a little taste before they decide which direction or which grad school they want to attend. So it depends, but in a proposal we expect them to write a more detailed independent study. Independent study doesn't really mean that yes, you can go over and just have a simple study project or research project. So you should really demonstrate why it is really necessary for you to spend 10 months in Germany, and also the research project or study project that that is you know, reasonably put, and the methodology has to be very clear, and you should have a specific invitation from an academic partner at the German university or research institution. Basically, I mean, this would be the same, the criteria that I have mentioned. Is it well defined? Do they have a real, do they planned out the 10 months very wisely?
Great, thank you very much. We don't have any further questions, and it is 10 a.m. now, well, in San Francisco at least. Thank you very much, Ushi and Myeong-shin. Is there anything you would like to add to the presentation today?
No, thank you. I think, Yeah, you can see our email addresses on the slide, and if any questions come up during the application process, feel free to contact us.
Yes, yes, same with me. We are here to help you and give you tips and advice, so don't hesitate to contact us.
Mm-hmm.
And please apply for funding and go to Germany.
So yeah, we will post this webinar later today. The recording will be online, but also the presentation as a PDF. And we will have other webinars in this fall. Check our website for the topics and the dates. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you again, Oshi and Myeong-shin, and have a wonderful day, and hope to hear you soon or read you soon. Bye.
Thank you, honey. Bye.
Okay.